Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from
Respect the talk, respect the talk. 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 Respect the talk, respect the talk.
Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where to Next 2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on a beautiful ship, Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We heading over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure to Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure to Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Respect the Talk. You guys know who I am. This is Jerry B, the podcast where we keep it real here. We talk about the issues people are thinking about and have the conversations most people are scared to have. I'm your host, Jerry B. And as always, we appreciate every single person rocking with us tonight. And before we go too far, I want to let you know my nephew James won't be here today. My great great grandnephew, or whatever you want to call it, I mean, great 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 cousin, got a game today over in Chi-Town, so he's in Chicago going to that game. And I told him I got the handle here today. But who knows, folks? My producer might jump in on a couple of the topics and take in for him if needed. But before we get started, make sure y'all do me a favor: hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to jump in on comments. Seriously, jump in on comments today, folks, because then I can read your comments and you can be helpful to me, because we want to hear your opinions too. Respect the Talk is all about real conversation, different perspectives, and bringing people together through dialogue. So, wherever you're watching from tonight, we appreciate you. Let's get into it, folks. So, here's what's going to happen tonight, folks. This is something my nephew would be saying, but I'm actually going to do this. But, tonight we got real interesting lineup on conversation. First, we're showing love for Mother's Day and talking about the deeper history behind it. And that's a lot of people don't even know. Then we're diving into those Pentagon UFO files. Yes, yes, yes. Are they out there or are they not? And asking the question, everybody is really debating online right now. Are governments really revealing something major, or are people reading too much into it? Okay, after that, we're talking about how social media got people forming opinions without real life experience, and why traveling, meeting people, and seeing things for yourself changes your perspectives on the world. And finally, folks, we're getting into AI, technology, and how these massive new projects could affect regular communities, energies, housing, everyday life, and moving forward. So, folks, do me a favor: grab your cup. I don't care what's in it. Mine's happen to be soda, but you can put whatever you want to put in yours. Put it in there and let's sit back, relax, and let's respect the talk.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.
Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk.
All right, there, folks, respecting the talk here. But we said we're going to talk about Mother's Day here. So we're going to get into the real origins of Mother's Day, because this is vitally, this is really important to me. Because I have so much respect for women. I've always said that, even when I was young. I've had nothing but respect for women. It's hard not to respect all our ladies out there, because here, and I said this in one of my posts on the Respect the Talk page. And fellas, you guys got to listen hard to this, because you got to realize, without women, guess what? There would be no us. We cannot have babies, us men. So the population would be all women, if they even have any babies. So without them, there would be no us. So it just it's just a crazy thing. So drop us a comment, folks, and let's talk about this conversation, because I got my screen up here and I'm listening for anybody want to talk. I'll read your comment. Trust me, we can get right into it. Or if you want to jump on board, let my producer know. He'll get you a link and you can climb on in with me and help me talk about this. real quick today because it's going to be a great topic. Because, like I said, I love our ladies because of everything. You got to love them, folks. You have to love them. First off, we got to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's from here, seriously, from Respect to Talk. Seriously, moms don't get enough credit until you get older and realize how much they really were actually holding together behind the scenes. So drop us a comment. Let us know what you did on for Mother's Day. I want to see that too. I'll read out what you did for Mother's Day. So drop us a line. And guess what? And you know what's funny? Most people celebrate Mother's Day every year, but don't even know how it started. All they know is that flowers are expensive and brunch reservations are impossible. You know that. You know what I'm talking about. But the history is actually deeper than that. Mother's Day was started by a woman named Anna Jarvis back in 1908. Here we go again, folks. History lesson to honor her mother. Anne Reeves Jarvis, her mother, was out here helping communities before social work was even really a thing, teaching women about child care, hygiene, health, bringing families together after the Civil War. And here's the part people miss. Mother's Day wasn't originally meant to be commercial. Naturally, Hallmark did it again. Anna Jarvis wanted people to personally appreciate their mothers, write letters, spend time with them, and show real gratitude. Now it's turned into stores trying to sell you balloons, chocolate, gifts, baskets 2 weeks early. I mean, just getting crazy. But honestly, when you really think about it, moms are usually the emotional glue of families. A lot of us made it through hard situations because somebody's mother prayed us through it, sacrificed for us, protected us, or believed in us when nobody else did. So again, happy Mother's Day from all of us here at Respect to Talk. And I have to say this, honest folks, because it's true. Because my mom was the mother of the block, of the neighborhood. I mean, people would come, and I block and they come over, Ma Burton, Ma Burton, Ma Burton. And Ma Burton would be making some food and she'd feed everybody down there in the neighborhood. She was just that type of mom. And there was a lot of other mothers out there that did the same thing. They weren't just a mom to you. And you guys know that. A lot of you ladies know that too out there, that you had your certain friends that would come over your house and your mothers would be a mom to them too. She wasn't just about your mom. She was like, hey, come, have them come on in here, grab a sandwich. She was about feeding them, feed the whole community. That's what moms did. They were an intricate part of the glue of not just keeping this family together, but even keeping the neighborhoods together, keeping the kids together and playing together and making sure they're fed and staying out of trouble. So we got to always give respect to the mothers, not just on Mother's Day, folks. Not just on Mother's Day. Always do that every day. You got a mom out there, so say Happy Mother's Day to her every day. And just say thank you, Mom, for everything you've done to me. Whether your mom's still here with us or not, look up to the sky and say thank you, Mom, for everything you've done for me and made me the man or woman I am today. Because without them, there'd be no us. Anyway, okay, let's get into something a little crazy here. Star Wars, Star Trek, and all this other crap going on out here. So now they got the UFOs, okay, the Pentagon UFO files, disclosing a distraction. Disclosure or distraction? Tell me, folks, what is it? So the Pentagon released more UFO files, videos, documents, photos, and people online losing their minds talking about aliens again. But let me ask you this: did they really release something major, or did they just throw people a few files to calm everybody down? Because after looking through a lot of this stuff, most of it doesn't actually prove aliens exist. Now, what if it does show in this government takes unidentified objects seriously? You got military witnesses, intelligence agencies tracking sightings, FBI coordinations, all of that. But unidentified does not automatically mean extraterrestrial. Okay. Now, and that's where people jump too fast. I know Kiki is a little distraction, you know it. And that's where people jump too fast, is what Kiki says here. Folks hear UFO and immediately start talking about little green men. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the footage is strange. Some objects move in ways people can't fully explain. And honestly, that part is interesting. But there's still no confirmed alien craft, no proof of extraterrestrial, no smoking gun. And another thing, the timing feels interesting. Every time political tensions heats up somewhere in the world, suddenly everybody's distracted by another UFO release. Makes you want to go, you know. So I'm staying balanced on this one. Something is definitely happening that governments are paying attention to, but that doesn't mean Independence Day is about to happen tomorrow. It might not be happening tomorrow. Now, I'm gonna say this because do I believe in aliens or extraterrestrials or little green men in those terms? No, I don't believe in that. But I am a huge Christian to believe that Earth cannot be the only tiny little planet out here in this vast universe and all these different solar systems that we are the only people in this world. I mean, that would be a little cynical to think that we're it. I mean, the solar system is vast, and I don't know if you guys know this. There's lots of solar systems out there, tons of them, and we're in one right now. And we got our little Mars and Jupiter and Venus and all those stuff. But we, and yeah, we might be the only one in our solar system. But what about the other solar systems? There's no way I could be that cynical to think that the Lord Almighty would just create us in this little small circle of life here on this earth and leave the rest of the world, the universe, and all the other vast darkness out there alone and don't have anything else going out there. So now, whether they alien, I don't know. Hell, I don't like Mexican calling Mexicans aliens. So I think they're Mexicans. They're not aliens, illegal aliens. What the hell is an illegal alien? You make them sound like they're from the moon, or extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. Well, what does that mean? Hell, these bugs flying around in my yard are extraterrestrial to me, if you ask me. Thank you for being a Christian, Billy Cross, 1798. Thank you so much for responding on that. So, but yeah, I'm such a huge believer in God that I just don't think we would be it. You know, it's now whether we can make it to another planet or another star or universe, maybe we're not as intelligent as we might think we are, which is why maybe there are these weird sightings going around, and maybe they're more intelligent, or not say more intelligent, but more advanced. I would say more intelligent because we got some very, very intelligent people right here in the United States, or in this world, period. In this world, period. But are we more advanced than the next than what they're seeing out there? That is at least to be said, because we cannot. Christ, we just landed on the moon for the second time, and that's as far as we gotten. So, and if there's somebody coming from another solar system visiting us here, guess what? They're more advanced than us. I can guarantee you that. But anyway, it's all good, But hey, you know what? You guys keep your faith, and don't think that everything's here to hurt you. I mean, we got enough problems on this earth without having somebody coming from another planet to hurt us. So, they might be curious or whatever. All of us would be, but you know, um, they might just be curious. If there's even anything out there, they might just be curious. Who knows? Only God knows that. So, But hey, let's move on and just jump into one more segment before I take a quick break here. Okay, because we're going to talk about an experience versus social media opinions. This here, I posted this on my Respect to Talk page too, you guys. If you guys go on my Respect to Talk page, you'll see a lot of these topics on that. You can actually respond to me on there too. And we can talk about some of these topics before they even come on this show. And maybe even I'll read your conversation, read your opinion on what I put out there. But this was one of those things that I put out there because I seen this happen, and it really bites at me. Because you know what's wrong with society right now? Too many people forming opinions from social media instead of real life experiences. I traveled enough to know every place got beauty and problems all at the same time. I don't listen to other people telling me how dirty or filthy another place is. If I've never been there, I can't even comment on it. But I remember being young, traveling with my family band to perform at a maximum security prison in Joliet, Illinois. We were nervous walking in there. I mean, we were like scared to death because these were murderers. I mean, hardcore criminals. But once you actually talk to the people, you realize life is more complicated than headlines. I mean, these people scared the living snot out of us. And I mean, we had to been like 14. And these people, like, I mean, they were in there for life. They were not going to see daylight. I mean, they killed the mass murders or whatever, but, these folks were so darn nice to us because we came in and we entertained for them. And they couldn't pay us naturally. They couldn't pay us any money. They didn't have any money in there. They're making like 2 cents an hour. But what they did, they created these. Now, get ready to tell you my age, okay? But they created these black light posters, okay? And they had them and they gave them to us. So every time we went there, they made these black light posters, which were amazing, and just the thought they took the time out of their life to create that. I thought, my nephew decided to jump in. From where he's at. What's up, big man? Hold up, y'all. Hold
I
up,
just had
hold
a
up.
couple minutes. I wanted to just jump in and touch on a couple of things. First off and foremost, my opinion on the whole uh, alien release. I think that was a whole distraction, totally a distraction. Numbers are plummeting. It's just really ugly out there for him. So he has to do something to make himself look to distract away from it. Everything he's doing is just not looking good for him.
Well, I'm not saying they didn't do it for a distraction. What I'm saying is it's to be a little cynical to think that we're the only ones in this vast, vast universe
Oh,
of
absolutely.
multiple universes. That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do why they did it. Now, if you ask me why they did it now, then I'd probably say the same thing you did. But for the question is what people are asking us is about believing in aliens and extraterrestrials. And my point is, being the Christian I am, I can't believe God would only create this tiny little planet. I don't know if you guys remember this. Did you watch the Artemis 2 go up there?
Ready?
Huh? Artemis 3?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
What? I didn't hear you.
Did you watch the Artemis, that moon thing? The Artemis, was that Artemis 2?
I, I did not. I
Well,
did
anyway,
not, because that wasn't new to me. I grew up with the space shuttles.
right,
I was born just after the first launch.
right. Well,
Um,
here, the reason I'm bringing that up because you look at the moon where they were at the far dark side of the moon. Sound like Pink Floyd does in the dark side of the moon. Um, but they're on the dark side of the moon showing Earth disappearing behind the moon. And Earth is this tiny little blue ball. All of a sudden it got so tiny that you think you go further out into the universe, how small Earth is going to get. And then you go into another solar system and there is no Earth, but there's probably another Earth there. So to believe we're it, I don't know. I got my buddy Billy Cross came in. He said he watched the Ancient Aliens on History Channel and the Y Files. Hey, I watched the X Files, Billy, just so you know. So I mean, I'm a huge X File man. I'm sorry, I always been, man. Always been an X Files fan, so.
but I just wanted to jump in for a hot second, man, and give my love to all of the people watching out there, and uh, echo your happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day to everybody out there.
Yeah, you're looking sharp. Thank you so much for jumping in, man.
No problem, man. Maybe I'll try and jump back in again if I get the opportunity.
Anytime you want, you know that. You already got the link, so, bro. Love
All
to
right,
have
man.
you. All right. So,
All
anyway,
right. Love y'all.
love you too, man. So, anyway, folks, let's jump back into this here. I've been to Mississippi. We're talking about, um, I got to bring it. We're talking about experiences here, okay? Because I've been to Mississippi, California. I've been to Texas. I've been to Indiana. I've been to Wisconsin, Philly, Las Vegas, New York, and every single place had good areas and bad areas. Every place. That's why I laugh when people online act like one bad neighborhood represents an entire city. I was born and raised in Chicago. Yes, Chicago got problems, but Chicago is also beautiful. Downtown, Wrigley Field, the lakefront, Grant Park, amazing experiences. But depending on what news channel somebody's watching, They think the entire city is chaos 24/7. That is not the case, folks. That is not the case. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. I live, I now live in Southwest Florida. I watched places change here too. Fort Myers Beach used to look different years ago. Environmental issues, hurricanes, runoffs, all of that affects areas over time. But here's the bigger point. Stop repeating opinions from people's online if you've never experienced something yourself. And that is my point here with this show today that I'm talking about on this topic. Stop if I got into a discussion with somebody a while back ago talking about California. And they was like, yeah, California's a shithole and blah, 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 blah. And the economy is this and the economy is that. And the economy is this. And I asked them, have you ever been to California? Well, no. Well, how do you know this? I lived in California for a year. It wasn't as bad as they trying to make it seem on the news or on TV or coming out of the talking heads. Just because it's a Democrat or a Republican or a blue state or a red state does not make coming out of the opposite person talking about that true. It is not factual. It is actually BS, if I may say so myself. Because, like I said, I almost sound like what's his name? Johnny Cash. I've been everywhere, son. I've been everywhere. I've been in Louisiana, So, I've been a lot of places in my life. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of that because I'm a musician and traveled the world. I've been in New York, stayed at the Queen's Hotel there, caught on fire way back in the day. Been to Washington, D.C. I got pictures of me with my checkered striped pants on, or my striped pants on, different colors from back in the 70s when we were in the band. I've seen it all, and I've seen the good and bad points. I stopped through. I did a run through Philadelphia. Okay, and Philadelphia is dirty in certain areas. We drove through Pennsylvania, where they got the coal mines and the railroad steel mills and all the other stuff. And guess what? Yeah, it was dirty in that area, but as soon as we got through there, it was just as gorgeous. The mountains you could see there. I mean, it was just the history. The history alone there would make you cry because the battlefield out there that you get a chance to see, which is absolutely gorgeous if you ever never toured that battlefield out in that area from Civil War, is absolutely um, amazing. It's way beyond amazing. It just I stood there and I looked out on the field where the battle was held at, and I cried, thinking about all the lives that was lost during that time over nonsense. American lives. But it don't have to be American lives. It could be any lives because life is life. You know, I don't care whose life it is. It's sad. I don't want to see nobody die unnecessarily. I don't want to see nobody die. I'm just, again, that's that Christianity in me. You can't say I'm against abortion, but I'm okay for murder. Those two don't join in with me. They don't. I can't comprehend that. I almost cried when those 163 kids got killed over in Iran. Because these are children. They didn't know anything was going on. And these are lives. We can't forget that, folks. We cannot. If you cannot forget that, you cannot be a Christian and think that's okay and say, well, it's a fact of war. Well, no, things do happen. That's why you don't go to war, because you got a lot of innocent lives die for no reason, and that is not a humane way to live through life. So because here's the deal. Because if all your information comes from somebody else yelling on Facebook or TV that's not experienced, that becomes, guess what? Gossip. And that's all that is. And gossip keeps people divided. Yes, it does. Folks, we're going to take a real quick break here. I will be back at you in 2 seconds. Don't you go nowhere. You got time to grab you. Guess what? Get your cup. If you didn't get it yet, get your cup. Come on back. Join me. Stick with me. You guys keep writing me emails and texts. I love to read them on the show. Talk to you in a minute. 2 and 2. Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where to Next 2026 vacation calendar.
Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation you asked for. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on the beautiful ship Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We heading over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea.
Hey, folks, we're back again for segment 2 here. I hope you guys are still with me because guess what? This is going to be a fun topic. It's going to be a topic that I think my producer might jump in, and who knows, maybe my nephew might jump back in because this is in their realm of conversation. Because I'm old school, and AI. We get ready to talk about AI and the future of communities. It just blows my mind, and I see danger. Probably because I watched too many Terminators. I mean, I think they had Terminator 10 out there or something. It's just, they had so many of them out there, But I'm just like, man, everything I look at, I see the future of being Terminator, because it scares me. It is absolutely scary. So let's talk about AI for a second because this conversation is getting serious. Now, I'm not a tech expert, but I pay attention to how technology affects regular people. And right now, you got small towns nervous because these giant AI facilities are being built everywhere. I was watching what's happening in Utah with this AI project, and people feel blindsided. They're worried their town changing into something they won't even recognize, or their kids recognize, or their kids' kids will recognize. And honestly, I don't understand it. You know, if a project is going to affect power usage, land, housing costs, and the future of a community, shouldn't people have more say before deals are finalized? I know people want to let the government handle all that crap, but this is massive. And we already seen what rapid tech expansions can do in places like SpaceX in Texas. But here's what I don't understand. Mm-mm. Sorry about that, folks. You should have my phone off. Okay. And because here's what I don't understand. If these AI systems need massive amounts of electricity, why not build them in places designed for that? Why not use desert areas with nonstop sunlight and build fully solar powered AI communities? I mean, it can be done. I live near Babcock Ranch here in Southwest Florida. That entire community runs heavily on solar infrastructure, homes, schools, businesses, all planned around energy efficiency. It's crazy. I got to see if my producer want to come in here and let him see if he wants to jump in and to help me on this conversation because this, like I said, this really blows my mind. Hey, producer, you out there for me?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, jump on in here, man. What do you think about this AI thing going on?
Well, it's getting very crazy. I know up here, because I'm in the Tampa Bay area. They've been trying to build a data center east of Tampa, over in Lakeland, which is between Tampa and Orlando, and they're voting on that because they're they want to give the smoke screen of it's good for the community and this and that, but they don't tell the people. You know how you sometimes a realtor will have you go look at a house in a flooded area, but not tell you that it's a flooded area, so
Right.
that way they can get the sale.
Right, for sure.
That's pretty. That's pretty much what they're doing. They're saying it's good for this and that, but they're not telling them it's going to increase
Right.
their power bills, their water bills, because those buildings are not what people would think. Like if it was a call center or something like that. No, it's a building of a giant computer.
Right. But
And
I was
computers get hot.
right. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
talking to a friend of mine this weekend about this topic, and because of what happened. because yeah, I told him, well, why can't they build solar panels to help run the AI system? He said, well, it won't be enough power. Even if it's not enough power, the solar panels will help offset the power so it's not fed on the people out here. And that's what bothers me, because you're going to have all these AI companies making millions and billions and trillions. They're actually out there right now trying to race to see who's going to be the first trillionaire. And that's Elon Musk and that other guy I think we talked about last week. They're racing to see who's going to be the first trillionaire out there. All while we're paying the bullet, we're paying the bite for that. If they got that much money, can you imagine how many solar panels they can put out there in the field?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, trillions, hell,
Right.
take one of those billions and build $1 billion worth of solar panels out there that would take up 30, 40 acres in the desert of Nevada. And I guarantee you will have enough power. And if you have to pull from somewhere, then you just pull in a little bit from the local neighbors where it's not affecting their utility bills. But what's at hand right now. They're talking about letting these big factories come in here, build it off the electrical grid of. Oh, the other thing I said, well, then why can't they build a nuclear station by them? Let the nuclear station run them.
Right.
Why mess with little people out here? Because the fact is, it's going to affect all the small people out here that, their utility bills are going to go up as if they're not struggling enough for
Right.
AI that, like me personally, I don't use. And I don't know too many people my age or older is going to use that. So no, I don't want you to build a plant that's going to raise my bill, that's going to pay for something I don't need or ever use.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? And I was watching a documentary. I believe it was the it was yesterday, and it's not even just the power bills and stuff like that. People are also experiencing something all the way different, because with those buildings come with a lot of noise.
Right. Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
some people are dealing with headaches. Their animals, if they have, because they put them around areas to where it's more rural. You have more land and stuff like that. So the animals are not reacting to it properly. They're not. When I was watching a documentary, the woman was saying that their horses wasn't eating properly and things like that, which caused one of the horses to die. Or what people say, unalive online, so we're gonna say unalive or
Yeah, yeah.
delete it.
And
So yeah, it's more to it as well, other than just the electrical, stuff like that. It's also, on top of, you deal with jobs, that's coming with AI, that that's being removed as well. So
yeah, but you know what Elon and them are saying, and it's not Elon.
mhm.
It's not Elon on this one. This is that what's his name? He's on that one show. Can't think of his name. But I can see him. He's a millionaire. They built this thing out in Utah. I had it on my Facebook page. I can't think of his name. I can see it because he was on that show where they help make people businesses every week, and whether they're going to join people's business, help them grow their business or not. I can't think of his darn name. Anyway, he's the one doing it with his other millionaire honchos. And this is a small town in Utah that they're doing it by. Guys, it's not marketed, but anyway, it's a small town that they're doing it by. I mean, the town don't have hardly any people there. And their concern is one, they didn't let them know they were even discussing this.
You talking about the Shark Tank guy,
Yeah, Shark Tank guy, yeah.
Kevin O'Leary?
Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary,
Yeah,
thank you. It's
yeah.
him and his honchos snuck in this small Utah town and went behind the people's back to start trying to make this deal behind the government, with the government. And then it came out and the people freaked out. After the deal was getting ready to be signed, the people freaked out and walked in there and said, oh, hell no. And they start marching on this because it's like, dude, if evidently, if you got to sneak something through here, evidently it's wrong.
Right.
Because you should have brought that to the people before you even got this far. Let the people decide if they want that in their town. They're ready to close the deal and sign the paperwork and everything. They're trying to sneak this in there, and it's sad, that I'm not against AI, folks. So don't come at me and start saying, oh, Jerry, you one of those, you're against AI. No, I am not against advancement in the world. That's how we got the headache that we got right now with Facebook and the internet. I'm against the nonsense that comes with the AI. That's what I'm against. I'm going to give you a prime example out there, folks. FSU had a shooting last year. Okay. And I don't know if you guys should look this up. FSU had a shooting this year, mass shooting. The guy is actually going to court right now, today or this week or whatever, over this. And how he got his information is through AI chat GPT. It let him know when the best time that all the students would be there. It let him know how to go in to kill these kids. It gave him all this information, to create this mass murder. And now the district attorney here in Florida is suing AI because of it. And it's crazy, because that's my point. And the family is suing AI because they gave this kid all the information he needed. It's OpenAI, ChatGPT. Bakari Sellers said, the unique thing about this is we are not going to allow the American public to have a clinic run by them or OpenAI and ChatGPT. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. So those are the things that scares me, because they don't have any control of this right now. There's people out there, kids out there asking Chat GPT doctors or medical questions, and it's coming back with answers for them.
Even the programmers don't understand
I know,
how it
and that's
works.
what I'm saying. It's getting the programmers don't understand, nobody understands it, but yet they're allowing it to run butt wild all over the internet right now. And when it breaks out and takes over and starts doing stuff that they don't know what it's doing, they're not going to know how to shut it down. And that's where the fear comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe that's I'm a firm believer that when it comes to a lot of things actually that we get involved and we start in a way I would say start playing God in some ways, things get out of control.
Well, that's where if you remember Terminator, that
Hmm.
movie's not far off.
Oh, it's not. It's not far
It's
off.
not far off from what's exactly happening. Because if you
Hmm.
watch the Terminator, it starts with this guy creating this AI computer that can think for itself,
Right, have a consciousness.
have
That's
a
right.
consciousness, and run itself. And that's where we're headed. That they want to see how far they can go with these computers to be able to think for itself and run things, and and it's scary. But here's the point that I keep telling people, especially young kids out here. You young kids out there, if you guys listening to my show, if you're not, maybe the parents out there listening to my show should tell their kids, get your kids to get involved because this is their world. I will be dead by the time this comes out and gets real crazy. And if they don't pay attention to what's happening in this world, they're gonna be like, oops, what happened? How did that happen? Who built that? Holy cow, who took over? How did this happen? And it's gonna be all because they're walking around this world with blinders on because they're not paying attention to what's happening in technology in this world. Same thing that happened to Mark Zuckerberg when he built Facebook. Facebook was a great thing, but he never seen what it was going to become to and what it was going to be today. He thought it was going to be where people get to meet other people and see other people um, on Facebook. That's how it started. I don't know if you guys watched that movie, Social Network. It wasn't started out to be what it is today. He had no clue that it was going to be like this. He
Hmm.
built it with the intent for students to connect with other students at different colleges.
That's correct.
That's what the intent was. They can all talk to each other at different colleges and talk about assignments and what's going on in the school and everything. That's what it was made for. And then it blew up to the guess where it is right now. Now he's walking around with billions in his pockets while the whole world is divided and losing their minds on Facebook and ready to kill each other over Facebook. you know. And then they come out with X or whatever they used to call it, and they're doing the same thing there. So yeah, the internet is great. Don't get me wrong, the internet is a great invention, but it has its downfalls. And that's exactly what's going to happen with AI if you guys don't watch that. So if we know this can work, why aren't more people discussing dedicated AI zones built away from residential communities? Because people are worried about higher energy costs, environmental impacts, and losing the identity of their towns. And maybe, just maybe, there are technical reasons for all this. Maybe cost plays a role. Maybe infrastructure does. But regular people still deserve answers, folks. You cannot just drop this in there. That's the conversation we should be having before technology moves faster than society can keep up. The impact, my nephew James Burton, or I don't know, is that my brother or, but anyway, the impact of employment is huge. Also, robotics replace the workers, AI replaced the supervisors and managers. Absolutely, that is exactly what this happens. You know, there's something going on right now. I think I can't remember that. I'm not going to even bring up the company and the person that told me this, but he works for this company, and they are allowing this AI to run their salespeople and how to talk to the customers. So they have to literally read what AI is telling them to say to the customer. When the customer says something online, AI comes on and tell them what to say back to the customer. Now, come on, is that? I mean, really, this and that's where it is today. I mean, that's the actual true fact that is happening right now today. That was my nephew that put that question out there for you guys. You know, that's AI. That's what's happening today. It is absolutely ludicrous. You know, yes, that's a singer. I know, an artist, a rapper, ludicrous. Yeah, I know. You don't have to jump down my throat. I know, but it's ludicrous. You know, and that's my buddy because I love his music. You know, so anyway, you know, deliveries are ran by AI. A lot of things are starting to be ran by AI. Have I used AI? Yes, I have used AI before. I'm not going to say I haven't because I want to see what it was like. You know, I want to see how this thing is working. You know, you can ask AI, Chat GPT, anything, and it's going to come back with something. Wow. I mean, just wow. I mean, there's kids out there asking for medical questions. There's kids out there asking, should I commit suicide? You know, I mean, it's things it's things that should not be. This AI system should not be happening. I mean, it's at the top of the page when you ask Google something. You know, there's a button on there you can, you know, microphone. You hit that microphone and you can talk to Google, ask it anything. It'll come back and tell you stuff. You know, it's actually out here writing job applications for people. You know, I don't know where we are going with this AI. You know, so I mean, you know, I don't, you know, it's crazy. But you know, hey, you know what? It's nothing. It's you know, it doesn't make a difference. This is the world we live in. You know, it's technology moving forward, and it's got to happen. That's what's going to happen. Um, it's just one of those things that's got to happen. And if you remember the writers in Hollywood when they were on strike, that was from AI. They were worried about AI generated photos of themselves and taking their jobs. When they can invent a likewise figure of a actor and then put them in the movies, they're actually trying to create a movie just strictly AI generated right now. That's crazy. That is crazy. They already invented a singer, AI generated singer right now. Person don't even exist, and the song is going gangbusters. It is absolutely crazy out here, folks. So check it out, folks. I mean, it's just one of those things, that you guys got to look out for. Just got to keep your eye out. Yes, Timberland created an artist that could have won a Grammy, but they said no because it was AI generated. So anyway, besides that, folks, it's I'm not trying to say we don't want technology to move forward. No, we do. We want to keep advancing, but we want safeguards in place. We need safeguards in place because you cannot let it run wild here in the United States. And folks, we just cannot do that because if you do, you'll wind up with, guess what? My nephew James just typed in training or own replacements. Yeah, exactly. So it's if we let it run wild, it will be just like the Terminator. It will be. So, hey, folks, without further ado, like I said, we probably get out of here early today because my nephew's not here. And I'm going to take that period and get out of here 15 minutes early. It's been a blast talking to you folks, as always. I love you. I know my nephew says the same thing. We love you. You guys take care. Have a safe, blessed week. Hit me up on Respect the Talk page, folks. Get involved with my conversations there. I love to talk to you, and we can get a conversation going. If you respond to my page, I promise I'll read it when I come on the show next week. All right? Talk to you later, folks. You guys take care. God bless. Peace out.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.